wait, real quick.
Right,
I got to give Barnidge credit. I was wrong. It was Barnidge who made the big catch, not Dre, I think, down there.
It was Barnidge,
yeah. Tight end pass. So I want to give credit where credit is due.
Good job,
Should have threw a flag on me, Eric.
Brian talked about that, too, that he had said, I'm trying to remember if he said you think the ball was underthrown? It was underthrown. He had to come back at it, yeah.
He made a hell of a
underthrown.
catch. It was a hell of a catch.
He had talked, and Tim, while you're on this, he talked last night about that play specifically, that he would rather throw into the wind because if you're throwing a tight spiral, the wind doesn't make a difference. And the rain was the only factor that would cause an issue for him. Tim, can you just address that? Throwing the ball in the elements?
Yeah, it's tough. It really affects some quarterbacks. You know, I think it all depends on how tight the ball comes out of your hand. And Brian really has a tight, compact delivery, and the football comes out of his hand with such a tight spiral, it doesn't affect him as much. Andy's a guy who throws the football with a little bit more touch, and those type of quarterbacks, the wind really affects you, and you have a tough time throwing at it. But, I think, someone mentioned earlier about Brian, he grew up in Ohio playing in these type of conditions. It just doesn't affect him that much. He went out there and he looked like it was, 75 and sunny the way he was throwing the football down the field. He was throwing these seam routes down the field, just delivering the football with a lot of confidence. And Cincinnati, as much as Andy Dalton was struggling, his wide receivers were dropping a lot of passes too, even when they didn't get open very often. When they did, and he did put it on the money, they didn't catch the football very consistently. So it was a great performance by Brian and those wide receivers in those type of conditions.
Eric, next.
All right, the defense forced 4 turnovers last night. I mean, they held Andy Dalton to a quarterback rating of 2. Yes, 2.
I don't know.
It'd be hard to give a bad grade after that.
I don't know. Did anybody? Let's see the grades. I think this is easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Andre, why'd you go A?
I'm sorry. I guess I was sleep deprived as well. Hearing those numbers, it's hard to just give an A. You're right. A 2. I was with Rhoda when Garcia had the 0, I believe, against the Cowboys.
Yep.
And didn't we just play the one movie clip from the grade point average? 0.
Butarski has no grade point average.
Yes.
Daniel
No way to
Day,
go
0.00.
Yes. I've never seen anything so bad by a quarterback. Kudos to the Browns secondary. We didn't even talk about Des Bryant played a big game.
Oh, back-to-back.
Phil Taylor.
I was trying to ask myself, guys, I can't remember last time somebody had back-to-back sacks.
It doesn't happen very
That
often.
does not happen very
Jabal
often.
Sheard played his tail off as well. That defensive front looked like the high-paying defense that they are.
Kenny, defense.
I gave them an A. I didn't give them the A+ because I thought Cincinnati played into their hands by not running the ball enough. They still almost averaged 4 yards per carry, and that surprised me that they went away from it as much as Andy Dalton was struggling. But, hey, when you win the turnover battle, and the Browns are a +9 now in the giveaway takeaway category, anytime you're a plus, you're going to have a chance to win the game. And a +9 for a season, you're probably going to have a pretty good season. And they're finding ways to, give their offense a short field. Look at the Robertson interception early in the game. Gave him a short field to work with there, and they went out and getting that lead early, guys. If there were any nerves, that calmed those nerves and raised their confidence level because of the Robertson interception and then the touchdown off that pick.
They did give up some yards yesterday, and Deshaun Gibson actually dropped a pass. I can't believe it.
Best hands on the team.
I can't believe that happened. Tim, you went A+?
I went A+. I thought it was the best performance of the season. I thought they were great against the run. They were shutting down Cincinnati's offense on the early downs on 1st and 2nd down, and then the secondary played great. Joe Hayden locked up with A.J. Green all over the field. Thought he was outstanding. Anytime you can go on the road in this division and force 4 turnovers and put your offense in great condition and set them up with great field position, I think you deserve an A+. They were just outstanding yesterday, flying around, great assignment football, and everyone doing their job.
All right, Eric, let's fly through. What do we got?
Right,
How many more left? Last one?
Maybe the only blemish, I guess, for the Browns was another fumble on special teams. Old, reliable Jim Leonard coughed up the football. And Billy Cundiff actually missed a field goal as well. So a great.
It was windy, though. Did you see how that ball knuckled on that?
Yeah.
I mean, that was crazy.
Hey, with the win, I'll just say I gave him an A because they did some other things good, and I'm used to him fumbling a punt. That's just part of the punt return game. It's not that important for the Browns. I still give him an A because it was a great win and they won field position.
An A with a incomplete of call Josh Cripps.
Yeah.
That's the one that got me. You're a joke for saying that on Twitter. I love the idiots on Twitter some days. I'm just like, what? Come on, you got to give me a break on that. I went B only because the muff punt and the missed field goal. But, again, the missed field goal was because of the win. Kenny Rhoda.
I gave him a B. They've got to address the punt return situation, guys. If you're going to be a playoff team, okay, and you want to win playoff games, you can't continue to muff punts and make it an adventure every time the other team is punting the ball and you're getting it back and you're expecting your offense maybe to get good field position and you turn it over. Kudos to the defense for bailing them out there. It was 7-0 at the time, and they held them to only a field goal and kept that lead. So Ray Farmer, Josh Cripps, give him a call, please. I mean, swallow your pride. Yeah, I know what's happened in the past and all that, but he's better right now than anybody they have on the roster, and he's worth cutting somebody on that roster so you don't turn the ball over and give the other team a short field because you can't catch a damn punt.
All right, Tim, last one.
I gave them an A. I thought they played okay. Other than the muff punt, I thought they did a good job in their kick coverage units. Tough conditions for the punters and kickers, but I thought they played well overall, so I give them an A.
All right, gentlemen, we'll see you on Monday. Tim, thank you so much again. Always appreciate your time and analysis.
Let me ask both of you guys real quick. We'll be quick. Honestly, who do you guys think has the best defense in the AFC North right now?
Tim first.
I'm with you. I think Cleveland does. We talked about it earlier, and I think when they're playing the way they did last night, with that formula, stopping the run on first and second down, putting teams in third and long, forcing them to throw at Joe Hayden, and screening 2 interceptions last night to Sean Gibson, leading the league in interceptions. I think when they're playing with that type of formula and they're forcing teams to throw the football, I think they are the best defense in the North.
All right, Tim, we'll talk to you on Monday. Kenny, want to answer that question?
Yeah, it's the Cleveland Browns. The rotation, the depth they have. They got Phil Taylor back last night. He made an impact on the defensive line. Carlos Dansby leading that linebacking core, and Joe Hayden at the back end with Sean Gibson, the ball hawk back there. They have when you combine all of that, they're better than the Ravens, they're better than the Steelers. They showed they were better than the Bengals last night. So right now, the best defense in the AFC North resides in Cleveland, Ohio.
All right, thank you for joining us from the KennyRoto.com studios. What do you have coming up on your show today?
Well, we're going to break this baby down, obviously, and allow everybody to enjoy a Victory Friday on WHBC and WHBC.com. And we'll preview, Andy, because it is still validation week for you and the Buckeyes out
week
there.
2014.
We'll preview the Ohio State-Michigan State game tomorrow, and also look at some of the high school matchups involving the Stark County teams down in the Canton area, playing some of the teams up here, in Cleveland, and have some fun with that between 3 and 6 o'clock today.
All right, Kenny, great talking to you. We'll talk to you on Monday morning. Thanks, man.
You got it, guys.
Man.
All right, let's go to Chris Fedor, standing by from Cleveland.com, and occasionally over there from 92.3 The Fan. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Well, it is a Victory Friday, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It feels really, really good after last night's game, that's for sure.
All right, give us your assessment of last night's game, and we're on the scale of the whole season, how do you think the Browns played?
I thought that was their best game overall. I thought it was even better than the Steelers game, to be honest with you guys, because they went in there with a few advantages, and they took advantage of those things. Cincinnati was missing 2 key linebackers in Ray Maaluga and Vontaze Burfict, so the Browns tried to run the ball right down the throat of the Cincinnati Bengals in their house. They set the tone. They set the tempo. They outplayed them offensively. They outplayed them defensively. They controlled the line of scrimmage, and their quarterback made way, way more plays than the other quarterback. So I thought overall, even though there was that fumble on the punt return, I thought that was the Browns' best game overall. In a game where they absolutely needed to have it, and they showed why they belong in the playoff conversation.
I agree, Chris. I'm asking this question with a purpose, and we'll talk about the quarterbacks in a second. You heard me ask Tim. You heard me ask Kenny. Who's got the best defense in the AFC North right now, in your opinion?
I think it would be Baltimore if Jimmy Smith was healthy.
But Jimmy Smith is out for the year now. That's why
That's exactly right. He's the best defensive player that the Ravens have, and without him, I think the Ravens' defense is going to start to crumble a little bit. I don't think it's going to play as well as it has at the beginning of the season, so I think it's the Browns. If Joe Hayden continues to play like one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, and he goes up against some of these great wide receivers and limits them, I'm not going to say that he's going to take away every single wide receiver that he goes against, but if he limits them and he allows the pass rush to get after the opposing quarterback, and the big money players for the Browns continue to step up and make big plays, then they can win the games the way that I think a lot of us felt like they would win games at the beginning of the season, with their defense and their running game and just smacking people around and physically dominating them.
Yeah.
Well, we're throwing out hypotheticals. Let me throw this one out at you, because I was just thinking about this, and I'll give it to both of you.
Okay.
All right? If they would have listened to Mike Lombardi last year and started Brian Hoyer, game 1. Would Chud still be the coach here?
That's a great hypothetical. Well, I guess the thing I would have to hypothetically ask, does Brian Hoyer make it to the Thursday night game?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't give you that.
Yeah,
Let's just say yes. Let's say yes, he makes
Well,
it.
if Brian Hoyer plays every game last season, I don't think there's a coach's change. Brian Hoyer, and I know Chris and I go back and forth, Brian Hoyer is never going to blow you away with anything, but he doesn't turn the ball over a ton, and he always has you in the right play. And the one thing that separates him from all these other Browns quarterbacks, there's not a lot of negative plays when Brian Hoyer's in the game. So maybe Chuds is still Chuds, as Joe Banner called him. Maybe Chuds.
Is Joe Banner still here? That's another
That's a
question.
great
I didn't
question.
bring that one.
Depends if Lombardi tried to take
Chris,
his job.
tackle that question.
Yeah, I say absolutely Chud would still be fired. Yes, I do. Because I think when you talk about Brian Hoyer, I think he is who he is. I think he's always been who he has always been. And I think he is more reliant on a running game than maybe any starting quarterback in the NFL not named Andy Dalton.
I'd say the guy in Kansas City is pretty reliant on it, too.
Okay, sure. I'll give you that one. I think they're right up there. I think it's the same conversation for all of those guys. And if you go back to last year, there was no Terrence West. There was no Isaiah Crowell. There was no Ben Tate. It was Willis McGahee who ran like he had a piano on his back.
Dude.
Fozzie Whitaker, who Don Criqui called Fuzzy. That's all you need to know about Fozzie.
Way to get in a punch at your favorite play-by-play guy. I love you, Chris.
And Edwin Baker, who some people came up with the
Touchdown
nickname
maker.
Yes.
Touchdown Maker. Yeah.
Because he scored
so
two.
that was the running game. That was the running situation. So I think if you would have continued to go all season with that stable of running backs and a quarterback who I think is reliant on that running game, I still think Chud would have been fired.
I'm going to take a step further, Chris.
Although he wasn't last year.
Yeah,
I mean, look.
He won games. But here,
Sure
Chris.
he was.
Chris, you say relying on the running game. There aren't many that aren't, buddy. I mean, and I'm going to say something. Look, watch. Kaepernick in San Francisco is not the same quarterback because they've got him throwing too much, and they're not relying on the running game.
Okay.
Chris, I mean, do you disagree?
Would you rather have Brian Hoyer or Colin Kaepernick?
That's not the point. Well, talent-wise, that's not the question I asked you. But, all right, talent-wise, I'll take Kaepernick. But I'm saying you know football like I know football. Mm-hmm. Right now, Romo's having the best season of his career. Why? Because he's handing the ball up 30-some times.
Sure he is.
Relying on the run game. I think Denver had problems in New England last week. Why? They couldn't run the football. I get what you're saying, but all these quarterbacks have to take advantage of the run game, Chris.
Yeah, I think in a game-to-game situation, sure. But I think over the course of the long term and over the course of 16 games, I don't think other quarterbacks in the NFL are as reliant on everything being perfect around them. That's all I'm saying.
No,
I think Tony Romo has shown over the course of 16 that, sure, it is nice to have that running game, but he can still go out there and he can win games consistently, even if he doesn't have everything perfect around him.
All right, last question. Is this a playoff team?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. Right now, they're 6-3. They're in first place in the AFC North. I don't think there's a dominant team in the AFC North, guys. And if you look at the schedule, it's favorable. Yep. They've got Houston coming off a bye. Houston's going to be coming off a bye. Just made a quarterback switch.
It's the Lombardi Bowl.
Opponent.
It's Lombardi's two favorite quarterbacks of all time.
Can I get him as a guest analyst for this one? I don't know if he'll be able to talk. He'll be drooling so much.
Put him and Criqui up there. They'll just call them the wrong names.
There you go. It'll be Robin Mallet against Ryan Boyer. And then after you've got Houston, you've got Atlanta. And Atlanta's been terrible this year, and they're a colossal disappointment. And the way that you can attack Atlanta is similar to the way that you can attack the Cincinnati Bengals. You can just dominate them on both lines, and that's where the Browns are strong. They're strong on the defensive line. They're strong on the offensive line. So when you can do those things, then you can control the game and you can demoralize the opponent, and I felt like that's something that happened last night against Cincinnati. Sure, I think you're a playoff team, especially with the schedule. It's been the easiest schedule in the NFL, and it's not going to get that much tougher. Houston, Atlanta, come on. They already beat Cincinnati once. Baltimore's not the same team. Sure, playoff team.
And that was the reason to hold the defensive question I've been asking guys, because that's my point. We can fight about the quarterbacks and all that other stuff. Mm-hmm. I think we all agree the best defense, if they stay healthy, is here in Cleveland. They already have a great rhythm going. I kind of expect them to be a playoff team right now, guys.
Well, right now you got to feel that way. I feel good about saying that.
Because the Bengals' defense isn't the same without Burfict. Baltimore's defense isn't the same without Jimmy Smith. And the Steelers got all kinds of injuries on defense as well, and the weather's getting ready to change.
So do you think that the records, though, in the AFC North make the North the most overrated division in football then? If you're saying all these
No.
injuries are in there.
I wouldn't say that. I think it's a great division, honestly. They're taking advantage of the schedules that they have, though.
And, I mean, I think the other thing that's in play here is, Trey, you're talking about how terrific the Browns' defense is, and it's probably the best defense in the AFC North right now. I put the Browns coaching staff up with any coaching staff in the AFC North. I'm not saying that Mike Pettine's better overall than a guy like Harbaugh or a guy like Mike Tomlin, Super Bowl rings, but I would say the coaching staff overall, Kyle Shanahan, I think, is one of the best offensive coordinators. I thought he ran circles around a guy like Hugh Jackson, who thinks he's the best offensive coordinator in the game. And when you have guys like that who always have this team prepared, can attack the weakness of the opponent, can find the weakness of the opponent and stick to that, I'll put the Browns coaching staff up there with anybody. I haven't been able to say that for a long, long time here.
Great point.
All right, Chris, we'll read you on Cleveland.com, and we'll listen for you on 92.3 The Fan this weekend. Thanks, Chris.
All right, guys, enjoyed it.
Take
All right,
care,
we'll talk
buddy.
to you. All right, let's go back to Faith in the newsroom as we start to wind things down here. Faith Boone back in the newsroom. Hi, Faith.
Hi.
All right, so what's going on Twitter? What's going on Facebook right now?
So you guys asked me to look up that Greg Little stuff,
Yeah.
and I noticed that he hasn't tweeted since October 31st.
Yeah.
But I did find out that he's been Instagramming. He
good.
sent out a picture yesterday.
We got it?
Do we have
Yes,
it
we
pop
do.
up?
I sent it to Eric.
Oh, nice shoes, great.
So he's got these shoes, and
Those
as
are
you can
Jordans.
see, the comments are pretty much, you didn't do jack.
He didn't, but those are some sweet kicks.
Those are sweet.
There's a
I mean, I
Jordans.
wouldn't wear them,
They're
but
Jordan Bengal brand.
those are Bengal brand.
Yeah.
I think that's supposed to be Bengal.
G Little, he worries about all the wrong things. He'll be out of the league
Exactly.
selling cars in a few
I'm
weeks.
pretty sure he's worrying about the wrong things. I mean, this dude doesn't even have a Facebook. I'm a social media specialist here. He definitely needs a Facebook page.
I don't have one either, Faith. Is that
Oh,
am
I know you
lacking?
don't. We're going to fix that very
Okay.
soon.
Oh, jeez.
All right, what else do we hear on social media today, Faith?
Just that debate between Hoyer and Manziel. Just
There's a
the
debate?
fact that, we have a lot of people saying, Hoyer's doing good, but maybe not so great. Who knows if he's going to keep that going, and when are they going to start using Johnny, or are they going to just trade Johnny? Again, I'm using the word trade. I don't know if that's right or not.
No, you're using the right words.
No, it's
Okay.
All right,
But yeah,
Faith.
there's this big debate between Hoyer and Manziel, and which one is actually going to be better than the other, or if they're ever going to use Johnny at all.
Well, for my weekend entertainment, I'm not talking about Johnny football.
Who?
No.
Exactly.
Exactly.
This is Brian Hoyer's weekend, boys and girls. Let him enjoy it.
All right, Faith, do us a favor. Remind everybody on social media that we are back on Monday morning. Thank you.
We are?
I will do that.
And tell them they can watch the replay. We might play it back on Monday.
Oh, we will.
I'm joking. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Faith. We'll talk to you
Bye.
later. All right, Eric, the referee.